Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to my channel. I am Leisha Kohli and I am basically here to educate, motivate, and analyze a few things related to education. This is my first video, so make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit like on this video. Also, please do tell me whether you enjoyed this video in the comment section below. So guys, basically in this video we are going to be discussing about the chapter 16th of biology for class 11th. The chapter name is digestion and absorption. So without any further ado, let's get right into the video. So guys, before we move into the chapter, I would like to notify you all that we will only be discussing stuff related to the NCERT textbook and no other textbook. I will also be providing you some of the important question and answers which will be beneficial for you guys if you are preparing for some of the competitive exams such as NEET. So without any further ado, we'll move into the chapter. So, the chapter name is Digestion and Absorption, as I said before. The first topic is food and water. We all know that food is very essential for us. The major components in foods are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. Food also provides us energy for growth and the repair of tissues. Water, on the other hand, plays a very important role in all the metabolic activities of the body and prevents dehydration. What are these metabolic activities? Before we move further, metabolic activities are basically all the activities that are taking place inside our body. Before we move into the process of digestion, I would even like to tell you the meaning of biomacromolecules. This is a new word for us. What are these biomacromolecules? Biomacromolecules are certain substances which cannot be digested in their original forms in our body. Instead, for their digestion, they have to be broken down into simpler forms in order for them to get digested. So the breaking down of these biomacromolecules and the utilization of these substances is known as digestion. Our next topic is the digestive system. What is the digestive system? The digestive system mainly contains the alimentary canal and the associated glands. So let's just move into the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal basically begins anteriorly through the mouth and opens posteriorly through the anus. What is the meaning of anterior and posterior here? Anterior basically means the front side and posterior means the back side. So guys, it's a really easy concept that in the biology that we are going to study in class 11th and 12th, nobody is going to say front and back and side. Everybody is going to use anterior or posterior. So it's important for us to just learn these terms right away so that it does not cause any difficulty to us when we move up in 12th or when we appear in the competitive exams. So mouth leads us to the buccal cavity or the oral cavity. The oral cavity basically contains teeth and tongue, as we all know. Now, one of the important concepts of this chapter is decodont and diphodont. What is decodont? Basically, each tooth in our oral cavity is embedded in a socket of jawbone, and this type of an arrangement is known as decodont. So each tooth is embedded in a socket of our jawbone, and this type of an arrangement is known as decodont arrangement. On the other hand, what is diphodont? Diphodont is basically, we humans have two sets of teeth in our lifespan, that is temporary teeth or deciduous teeth and adult teeth or permanent teeth, and this type of a dentition basically is known as diphodont dentition. And as we all know, we have different types of teeth in our oral cavity. They are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Incisors can be written as I, canines as C, premolars as PM and molars as M. Another important concept of this chapter is the dental formula. For humans, the dental formula is basically 2123 divided by 2123. Next comes the enamel. What is the enamel? The hard chewing surface of the teeth is known as enamel. The enamel is basically the hardest substance present in the human body, as we have already learnt in the class 10th. Next is the tongue. The tongue basically helps in the movement of food throughout our oral cavity. So it is a freely movable muscular organ attached to the floor of the oral cavity to the frenulum. This name we have to learn. Next comes the pharynx. What is the pharynx? Pharynx is basically a common passage for food and air. Also, in the pharynx region, there is a cartilaginous flap known as the epiglottis. What is the function of the epiglottis? It basically covers the windpipe or the glottis so that the food does not enter into the windpipe and it enters into its right place, that is the esophagus. Now, through the pharynx, the food enters into the esophagus. The esophagus is basically a long tube which opens into a J-shaped bag known as the stomach, and this opening is regulated by the gastroesophageal sphincter. What is the gastroesophageal sphincter? It is basically the passage through which the food enters the stomach through the esophagus. The function of sphincter is to regulate the food into different parts of the body or substances into different parts of the body. Now moving on to the stomach, we have certain parts of the stomach. The first part is the cardiac, the fundus or the fundus, the body and the pyloric. Now many students have this doubt that why is the first part of the stomach known as the cardiac, because cardiac is basically related to the heart. So why is this called cardiac? That is because the first part of the stomach is really close to the heart. That is why it's just named cardiac. There is no importance in the functioning of heart and the stomach. They're not connected. So the last region of the stomach, that is the pyloric region of the stomach, opens into the small intestine, and this opening is guarded by the sphincter known as the pyloric sphincter. Now why is this sphincter known as the pyloric sphincter? That is because the last part of the stomach is the pyloric. It's as simple as that. So as the stomach, the small intestine also has certain parts. The first part is the U-shaped duodenum. The second part is the coiled jejunum, and the third part is the highly coiled ileum. Now, there are certain parts of the large intestine also. The large intestine have basically three parts. One is the cesium. The cesium mainly contains, it's a blind sac which contains symbiotic microorganisms, and it also contains a vestigial organ known as the vermiform appendix. The second part is the colon. The colon also has four parts, that is the ascending tube, the transverse tube, the descending tube, and the sigmoid colon. A very rough diagram is given here. So this is the ascending tube, the transverse tube, the descending tube, and the sigmoid colon. The third part of the large intestine is the rectum. Now, as we know, the alimentary canal, that is from the buccal cavity to the anus, it has four layers. The first layer is the serosa. It is made up of thin mesothelium and connective tissues. The second part is the muscularis. It is made up of smooth muscle cells arranged in a inner circular or outer longitudinal layer. The third part is the submucosa. It is made up of loose connective tissues which contains blood and lymph. Also, glands in the duodenum region are present in the submucosal layer. Fourth part is the mucosa. It basically lines the lumen. So, when I was learning all these, I had a difficulty in remembering the names: serosa, muscularis, submucosa, and mucosa. So, there is a trick which helped me to learn all these names. If you are Indian and if you speak Hindi, you might be knowing that head in Hindi is sir, and head is the topmost part of the human body, and the first part is serosa. So as sir, like head, it helped me learn this name serosa, the first part, sir, head. So I learned serosa, and in the continuation I learned all these names. So this is like a small trick for you guys to learn these names. Also, in the small intestine region, there are certain finger-like projections. As we know, they are known as villi. Now, what are these villi? Villi are finger-like projections in the small intestine. They basically increase the surface area for absorption. The villi also contain certain microscopic projections known as microvilli, which give a brush border appearance. Now, why is this important? This is important to increase the surface area. The villi contains a large lymph vessel, which is known as the lacteal. The small intestine also contains certain goblet cells which secrete mucus, and the glands in the duodenum, which are known as crypts or crypts of Lieberkühn, are also present in the mucosal layer of the alimentary canal. Now, moving on to the digestive glands, there are basically three types of digestive glands in the human body. The first is the saliva, which is secreted by the salivary glands. It is present in the buccal cavity. There are three types of salivary glands. The first is the parotid, which are present in the cheek cells. The second is the submandibular glands or the submaxibular glands, which are present in the lower jaw. And the third is the sublingual glands, which are present below the tongue. All these three glands will secrete salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of 30% of starch in the buccal cavity itself. Guys, there is no other alternative instead of learning these names, so please be thorough with these names so that you can score very well in your examinations. So the second digestive gland is the liver. The liver is basically the largest gland in the human body. It weighs about 1.2 to 1.5 kg in an adult human. The liver has two lobes, that is the right lobe and the left lobe. The structural and functional unit of the liver is the hepatic lobules containing hepatic cells which secrete bile juice. Each lobule is covered by a thin connective tissue sheath, which is known as the Glissen's capsule. So each of the lobule is covered by a connective tissue sheath, and this is known as Glissen's capsule. It is as simple as that, guys. Don't complicate it. The bile, which is stored in the gallbladder through the hepatic duct. So the bile is basically stored in the gallbladder through the hepatic duct. The hepatic duct is nothing but the duct of the hepatic lobules. Now the hepatic duct and the cystic duct both forms the common bile duct. You must be wondering, what is the cystic duct? The cystic duct is basically the duct of the gallbladder itself. So the duct of the hepatic cells and the duct of the gallbladder forms the common bile duct. Easy. The second thing, the duct opening in the duodenum, is known as the hepatopancreatic duct and is guarded by the sphincter of Oddi. What is this hepatopancreatic duct, guys? The hepatopancreatic duct is mainly formed by the duct of the pancreas and the common bile duct. So these two ducts basically meet in the duodenum region and they form the hepatopancreatic duct, which transports both the bile juice and the pancreatic juice. The last digestive gland in our body is the pancreas. This is a very interesting part, guys, because pancreas, as we all know, is an exocrine as well as endocrine gland. Why is that happening? Is because the exocrine region basically secretes alkaline pancreatic juice. So the exocrine region will secrete the pancreatic juice, whereas the endocrine region will secrete hormone, insulin. So pancreas is basically this organ which secrete both pancreatic juice as well as hormones, which makes it really interesting to learn about this. So guys, basically in this video we learned about a lot of interesting terms, that is decodon, typhodon, food, water, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, the digestive glands, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have made up a little interest in biology after me teaching this. Also, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. As I'm new to YouTube, I need a lot of support from you guys. Also, this was only the part 1 of this chapter. I will be uploading part 2 and 3 very soon. So please stay tuned so that you don't miss on those videos, because there are more important concepts coming in those parts. And also, please do not forget to leave a comment down in the comment section and tell me how did you like this video. Also, please support me, guys. It is really necessary. Please subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. You won't lose anything by subscribing, but it would fill my life with happiness. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.